Welcome to B's Staryard. Today we're going to be building the Revenant. It's going to be a pretty complex build. We're going to have lots of moving and removing parts so that way we can get other parts to fit in places and using other parts to glitch them in place so that way we can get other parts to connect to the ship. So what we're going to do here is we're going to start off the build by duplicating items into them by using the duplication of the halves to merge parts. So we're going to merge the reactor and the grav drive into the same space. If you haven't watched my tips and tricks video, I'll leave a link in the description below. So I hope you guys have been enjoying the builds so far. This has definitely been one of my more challenging and more complex builds, but in the end it was a lot of fun. Now that we have those merged, we're going to take the engines and merge them into the same space. For whatever reason, when I was doing this the first time, the engine, even though I was doing the same thing I was doing with the reactor and the grav drive, the engine wanted to duplicate upwards and not downwards. So what I did was I used a 1x1 half to cover it. Now that we have those two in there, we're going to clean it up a little bit. And so you can preferably build around it, which is what I'm going to do once you have a merged object, or you can use a hab or some other object that will connect to the other objects and grab them all at once by doing select all and then moving the pieces, but preferably you want to start by building around it. So this piece we're going to take and we're going to stick right here in the middle, our control station of the 3 layers there. This is going to give us an attachment point for the bottom docker, and then we're going to be using those Nova Cowling pieces to create connection points for the exhaust from the landing gear to attach to the back of the engine. I recently discovered the Taiyo landing gear had that exhaust on the end, and I've just kind of really been enjoying using it in my builds. So now it doesn't want to go there, so we're going to have to flip it back and forth and then let it go, and then it'll stay there. We're going to attach the landing bay to the docker. Now these are going to help create attachment points to the other cowling. They're also going to round out the bottom of the ship. So we'll take our landing gear, and there's 8 of these total, and normally they wouldn't be able to fit to the docker in the bay there because there's no connection points to the side of the landing bay. And so by having that cowling there, it creates a connection point for all those dockers that are connected together. Now this one we're going to flip. We're going to add this one in to the side so we can connect the rest of our landing gear to it. It's a total of 8 Stroud Accu-Lander 11 landing gear. So we're just trying to find the connection point, but Camera's being a little wonky. I am playing on the Xbox. So now it'll connect to that point. Now you have one coherent piece. So what that's going to allow us to do now is, now that those are in place, we can attach our landing gear, but we're going to have to move this other cowling out of the way that's holding on our other pieces. So we'll move these aside for now. What we're going to do is grab the landing gear. This goes in the back. The cool part about that landing gear is that in flight, those shoot out almost like an engine, which gives a really cool effect. Now that we have our landing gear situated, we can reattach these by flipping them into place, letting them go, flip, flip, and then let go, and it'll stay merged together. Cap off our landing gear. You want to make sure that this has the hangover right there on the bottom. So that hangs over, and then I noticed that that piece is not in the correct position, so I flip it, and so that should be facing inwards or outer towards the outside, because we only need the one connection point. We're going to take the all-in-one berth, put that there. Then we're going to start. Oh, sorry about that. The volume got a little bit high and then starts to get a little bit laggy here. So the screen stutters. Like I said, this build is very complicated, so to like tear it down and then put it back together, that's not how I naturally build. I just kind of let things evolve as I'm messing around with them. But for the sake of the video, you need to be pretty organized and try to get it all together. And so we're going to line up all the halves like that, with the 3x1 sticking out one farther than everything else. The next part we're going to do is we're going to put these noses on to the end of our ship there. Now eventually I'm going to have to move those weapons off, so that way when I go to put in the Nova weapon parts, it'll allow me to put that in there with the pieces. So now we're going to attach these. The one will go in just fine, but this one you'll have to glitch in by flipping it. So you don't have to flip it when it's green. But this one will have to be merged into the object, so I'll have to flip it, and then once I let it go, it'll stay. This is going to be connected to this tab. We'll just repeat that on the other side. connect to the bottom of the hab over here. And we're going to do the same thing here. Now this is one of those situations where I put this piece in place, but now that I have that piece in place, there's no connection point for the cowling. So I do that on both sides. However, now when I go to do the cowling after I complete this part, you'll see that the cowling can't attach. And the reason that's happening is there's no snap point available. So if we take this off, and we take the other one off, we create a snap point. Now, it looks weird to me when I'm building it this way. So you'll see me here trying to figure out what the positioning is for it. If it's supposed to stick out like that, but then it covers the exhaust. And I wanted the exhaust to stick out. So then I end up sticking it right there. And that's where it should be going. Now the cool part is, see, it'll flip in to green because it's already within that space. And then this one's just going to go on the other side. Same thing with the exhaust sticking out on the bottom. And now, because we have these back connection points on the habs, we can connect these, but the cowling only has one connection point. We're going to take the Nova weapon mounts, place them on the ends of these habs. Now here comes the part where, because I have these suppressors sitting on the outside, they're going to basically be glitched into the spacecraft, into these caps. So I'm going to remove these caps, and then I'm going to put the weapon mount on. I suggest that you put your weapons on the mount before you put them in place. It just makes it a lot easier to then just move it in place, because now I can flip this one, but you can see that the piece is kind of finicky, kind of drops into there, but when as soon as I grab it, boom, it's green. And this one's even worse because I grabbed the wrong piece. And that's when I found out that when you remove this piece out of the equation altogether, it doesn't cause that issue. And so as you can see, it goes just fine. And then I'm able to place that on. And then now I can attach my weapons back. Now a lot of you are curious how you attach the cockpit, so you use a companion way. And then you do the cockpit. So what you're going to end up doing now is, now that you have the cockpit in place, you're going to build around the cockpit with parts by flipping them, so that way you're not running into any troubles, because if you try to put the cockpit on after you do all that, you're going to have to do a merge glitch where you force it down into place. That's one option, but for this tutorial I'm going to show you guys how to build around it. going to take these to fill in the backside. Gives it that nice, smooth, rounded edge right there. Sorry for the screen stuttering. And then here's another case where I did this, and then I realized as soon as I put these here that, oh wait, I need the engines. So instead of having to merge glitch the engines in, it's just easier to remove these pieces to set them aside after flipping them in place. And then I just duplicate the engines. And then there they are, the engines are done. And now we'll use this piece here. And we'll glitch it into here. Flipping it. So that way we can add our Deimos Wing pieces on. Again with the stutter. There you go. Now we're going to add this piece. Grab the other side. Place that. Now we're going to merge these two pieces by flipping them. Again, if it's green, you don't need to flip it. Now it's red, but it has that connection point, so we're going to flip it, flip it, flip it. And then sometimes it doesn't always work out. You can see that there's kind of a little gap there sometimes. Not in this case, but sometimes you'll have a little gap. All you'll have to do if that's the case is just grab the piece, and then once you grab it, it should go green, and you should be able to snap it in place. I start placing these pieces and I realize, oh wait, I need this Nova Cowling to go on there too. So what I'm going to do is put this Nova Cowling here. But now that I have that Nova Cowling there, it won't allow me to put that other piece, I believe. Now I can move this out of the way because I can still attach it there because there's another connection point. So what this will allow me to do is now I can place my Nova Cowling I can let that go. Now I can add my other piece. See, now it won't connect. So what I need to do is you can put that there. That's going to sit right underneath there. Now we're going to do this here. Now why we did that, now we can take this piece right here, we can tuck that in underneath the cockpit. So that way I can connect to there. So we're going to drop it. The reason you want to put that piece in first is that this has connection points to the side and the bottom. And this one needs to connect to the side of the other piece that it's connected to right there. Let it go. Now we can move that piece out. We can move that piece out. Because those were what allowed us to put those middle pieces in. Now we can connect the cowling here. The only issue with that is that we're going to need to move that. So that way we can put this Hopetech piece right here. And see, without that piece in the back, we wouldn't be able to connect this piece to here because there would be no connection points. And we're going to cap off these halves. With these pieces that mirror the bottom. We're going to do that again. The other side. After we get these set up. Now this piece is supposed to go here, but it linked to another weird location. So now we can connect this piece to here. And that finishes out that one. Trying to figure out how it attached to that weird space. That piece won't connect. So as you can see, I was kind of playing with it, trying to find that other snap point. And then I realized that that did not snap to the right spot. And so you can see me kind of playing with it. realize what happened. Grab these two pieces and finish up the side of the wing here. Now this will connect to the other part of the other Stroud cap. We've created that connection point. See, it's going to be hard to connect that because there's nothing really structurally or anything for that to attach to. How you get around that is we're going to take this piece here and offset it back by 1. Now that's going to create our snapping point for the other object later. So we're just going to mirror that for now. See, it's got a connection point there. We'll flip it into place. Let it go. We'll do the same thing on the other side. And now it's connected. Now we can merge this piece in. And we can merge this piece in. We can grab our cargo. Put our cargo here. We'll flip it into place, let it go. We're going to do the same thing with the other one. Flip it, and then flip it back, let it go. And now it's attached. Now we're going to grab the weapon mounts. I like to mount them farther back so they're on the same line as the other turrets, so they all have the same range. We're going to do that again with this one. Now we're going to go ahead and do shield. So now what we're going to do, we're going to tuck it under the cap here. Grab it, put it there, and then flip. We're going to grab the equipment plate, the scanner jammer. This only works if you have the equipment plate because then you can mount it to the hab. And then what you're able to do is once you mount it with the Taiyo equipment plate, you can cover it and hide it underneath the Stroud parts. We're going to do this same thing. So for now, we're going to move it on the other side. There we go. Now, for whatever reason, the fuel tanks did not want to attach like I had them before, so I improvised. So I put the fuel tank there by flipping it in place. And I'm using these fuel tanks because I don't want them poking in through the habs. I had the bigger ones and they were poking in through the habs, and it was just not fun to look at when you were on the interior of the ship. So most of my builds I try to keep as little of the structural parts poking into habitats or cockpits as possible, so it doesn't disrupt your view or your experience. So now that I have those, what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to end up attaching these. You can see they're not wanting to stick. Had them there before, they're not wanting to do that. So I actually like this idea better. So I'm going to stick them right in there. Press B. I'm going to do the same thing. Now here's the fun part. What we're going to do is we're going to leave it faced away. And the reason being is because what we want to do is we want to stack these on top of one another. And to do that, we got it connected, and then we're going to flip it away. And we're going to do that several times where we're going to connect it and flip it away. Because if you see, it doesn't want to connect because you have this one here. So now we could flip it away, press B, let it go, and then now we got this one there, and we could flip it, and now it's going to take up the same space. We're going to do that with all of the fuel tanks to flip them away from the ship. Now they're not going to be attached yet, but because we only have that one point to work with, and we want to kind of force them all into one piece underneath there so we can get lots of grav jump fuel. Okay, now that they're all flipped away, what we can do is now we can flip them back. So that's going to connect. It's going to connect. It's going to connect. Oh. We're going to flip it to connect it to that spot. Flip it to connect it to that spot again. There we go. Now it's connecting. Oh. Now it's going to go green. We're going to flip that. Now, some of the pieces aren't attached, so we grab the entire ship and we move it just slightly, and then it connects to the only piece that wasn't connected. See, so now we can move the whole ship. Everything is connected. And that is the Revenant. It was very much one of my more complex builds, and tearing it down was kind of fun. And I hope you guys enjoy the video, and I hope you guys have a lot of fun building it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and look out for my video on next week. Thank you.